The Sponsorship Experts Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Sponsorship Experts Podcast. We're here with Paul, the founder of the Sponsorship Experts. Hi Paul, how are you and what can we expect in the October 2022 podcast?
I'm very well, thank you, Jay. In this episode of the podcast, we take a closer look at current sponsorship opportunities and news, including our appointment by Volleyball World to manage commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing in Thailand for the Volleyball Nations League. And we take a look at the increasing interest in women's sports prior to the Bangkok leg of the Women's Volleyball Nations League. We also have a number of new commercial sponsorship and partnership opportunities available, including Trifactor. Finally, we have a super early bird offer for our training workshops, sponsorship part 1 and part 2.
Excellent. The latest newsletter out now that you can find at paulpaul.co.th has a number of new and exciting commercial, sponsorship and partnership opportunities available for those who are interested in sports and news on the Sponsorship Experts popular training workshops. So before we get into the workshops, you have some exciting news that Paul Southeast Asia Company Limited has been appointed by Volleyball World to manage commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing in Thailand for the Volleyball Nations League. What can you tell us about this fantastic new appointment, Paul?
Absolutely, Jay. Paul Southeast Asia Company Limited is excited to announce his appointment to manage commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing in Thailand for Volleyball World. Volleyball World is a new partnership between Fédération Internationale de Volleyball, FIVB, and CVC Capital Partners, aiming at driving growth, innovation and investment in volleyball around the globe. The FIVB is the international governing body for the sport, covering 222 national associations. Volleyball World is aiming to create an international network and integrated ecosystem connecting all volleyball stakeholders, including fans, athletes and corporate partners, through digital and live events. Thailand is a key strategic market for Volleyball World, with the sport enjoying huge growth due to the success of the women's national team. In June 2023, Bangkok will be host for a leg of the Women's Volleyball Nations League, the world's leading professional volleyball competition. Matt Strachan, Volleyball World Head of Commercial, commented, "All the data shows us that Thailand is one of our biggest growth markets, and it's extremely exciting to bring a round of the Women's VNL, Volleyball Nations League, to Bangkok next year. With the sport enjoying such popularity in Thailand and abroad, we believe this event represents a fantastic opportunity and very powerful marketing platform for brands wishing to engage with hundreds of millions of volleyball fans." The appointment sees the Sponsorship Experts manage commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing in Thailand for Volleyball World. That includes assisting with identifying and packaging sponsorship, finding the right sponsors, activating and evaluating the sponsorship. We're extremely pleased to start this new partnership with Volleyball World to support the continued success of volleyball in Thailand. Volleyball already has a great following in the kingdom, so we are looking forward to building on top of this great foundation.
So last week I was privileged enough to speak to Matt Strachan, who is head of commercial for Volleyball World. And my first question was a simple one. What is Volleyball World?
Okay, well, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me on. What is Volleyball World? Volleyball World is the commercial entity that has been created to develop new innovative ways of bringing volleyball to the huge global audience of volleyball fans, following an investment that a private equity firm, CVC Capital Partners, made into the FIVB, the International Volleyball Federation. So the FIVB is our majority shareholder. We work very, very closely with them, and we are in charge of all of the commercial aspects of the sport. They focus on the governance, the sporting regulations and competition side of things. We put on the events. We manage the commercial inventory at events, at tournaments. We look after the relationships with our broadcasters. And fundamentally, my role particularly is to generate revenues off the back of the marketing assets that we have that are then plowed back into the sport to create a better sport for all of those connected with volleyball. And I would finish off just by saying that our goal, our vision, is to be the central ecosystem for all volleyball fans. Whatever they want related to volleyball, content, tickets, hospitality, merchandise, you name it, they can get via Volleyball World. That's what we exist to provide.
The Volleyball Nations League is
Yes.
coming to Bangkok in 2023. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Volleyball Nations League?
Sure. Yeah. So it is the premier annual volleyball competition globally. It's a competition that's contested by 16 teams per gender. So it is a competition for both male and female athletes, and involves the leading national teams based on the official FIVB Volleyball World Rankings. So it's the best of the best playing against each other. And the tournament takes place over 6 weeks in 11 cities around the world, with over 200 matches being contested across that period. So it's the jewel in the crown from our perspective, from a commercial perspective, and is one that's enjoyed by hundreds of millions of people around the world. The reason we're coming to Bangkok is that all of the data points that we have show us that the fastest growing market globally for volleyball is Thailand. And that's in large part due to the success, or the growing success, and the popularity of the women's team. We're really excited to be bringing professional elite volleyball to Bangkok at the Impact Arena in June next year, and can't wait to grow the sport and bring the sport to the hugely passionate Thai fan base that we know exists out there.
You mentioned there that the growth of volleyball in Thailand, especially from the women's game, why do you think that growth has come, and especially why in Thailand? Because when I grew up in the UK, and volleyball wasn't a sport that we played. It was football, it was rugby, it was cricket, basketball. Volleyball was never really something that we got into. So why do you think that Thailand's kind of grasped this volleyball? Because it's also not a sport that you think of in Asia. For me, if I think volleyball, I think on the beaches in maybe Brazil, or if you go on holiday on the south of France or in Spain, that's where you see volleyball. So why has volleyball all of a sudden become big in Asia, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit like you in so much as I'm, originally from the UK, and we tend to see volleyball as an event, an Olympic event, something that we see every 4 years. And everybody that I speak to in the UK always talks incredibly fondly of the experience that they had at 2012 at Horse Guards Parade, or the fact that they just love watching volleyball at the Olympics. However, we are very much in the minority, and it's not a sport that we grow up playing at school. Whereas in many other countries, you mentioned Brazil, other parts of Europe, it's the number one sport in Poland, for example, ahead of soccer or football. And the same applies in Asia. The sport is massive in China. It's huge in Japan. It's booming in the Philippines. And a lot of these cultures embrace volleyball from a very early age. So just as you and I are used to growing up kicking a football in the playground, these guys and girls are used to playing volleyball. And therefore, it's no surprise to people in the region, I think, of the popularity of the sport. And they tend to follow it, throughout their lives, from whether it be playing recreationally or on the beach, as you say, to watching it on television. And, it's a sport that has very strong values. It's non-contact. Frankly, you only need a ball and you don't even need a net in a lot of occasions. You just have a piece of string. So it's low cost of entry. many positive things that can be attributed to the sport in general. In answer to your question about why Thailand, I think the women's national team has enjoyed hero status for a number of years, in part largely due to their success on the court. But I also think, their appeal off the court as well has been hugely influential in the growth in the popularity of the sport. So, for that reason, when we launched our OTT platform, which is our streaming platform, the objective of that, Volleyball TV, by the way, is what it's called. The objective of that was to give fans the opportunity to watch their sport at a time that suited them. And whilst there are significant, far-reaching broadcast partnerships that we have with major broadcast partners around the world, not everybody was able to access those. So Volleyball TV gave them a platform to enjoy the sport they love. And that's where we've seen a real explosion of interest particularly from Thailand. So that's telling us that the fans love the sport and they want to see more of it. So we're bringing it to them in Bangkok next year.
You've appointed Paul Southeast Asia Company Limited, the sponsorship experts, to manage commercial sponsorship and partnerships marketing in Thailand for Volleyball World. What kind of opportunities are there? So it's a long question, that one. What kind of opportunities are there for potential sponsors here in Thailand?
Loads, quite frankly. Look, I know Paul from my previous time in Formula One, when I worked for a team that had a Thai British driver, Alex Albon, competing for them. So I was fortunate enough to come to Thailand on a number of occasions, and on a few of those I met with Paul, and we struck up a good relationship. And I can't be in Bangkok every week, and I know that in order to nurture relationships, we need to be on the ground as much as possible. So, Paul is the extension to our commercial department in Thailand, and he's a very sharp sports marketing professional. He knows in intimate detail what we have to offer and can curate a tailored package or a solution for a specific brand. But I think in simple terms, we own the event, we own all of the assets. We have great relationships with the athletes, so we can really put together a comprehensive set of rights and benefits according to the specific objectives of that brand and, of course, their budget. So I would urge anybody interested in associating themselves with volleyball and the Thai volleyball team to get in touch with Paul.
Excellent. And finally, what are you expecting from the Volleyball Nations League in June 2023 in Bangkok?
What are we expecting? I think what we're hoping for is that the crowds come out in their masses. We have a packed stadium for every event. We have a fantastic atmosphere. One of the great things about volleyball is that it really is a superb entertainment product. There's no tribalism. People come, it's fantastic for families. It's fantastic for friends to come after work and have a good time. There's loads of music. There's loads of noise. It's a great entertainment product as well as a sporting spectacle. So we hope that people will embrace the fact that the world's best athletes will be coming to Bangkok. We hope that brands will get on board and use it as a way to show their support to the national team, to the Thai national team, and make it one of the standout sporting events in the Thai sporting calendar, because we fully intend on coming back regularly and more often if possible.
Excellent. Matt, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Seeking sponsors. Seeking an opportunity to sponsor. Looking to maximise an already sponsored opportunity? Visit paulpaul.co.th the sponsorship experts.
Women's sports are becoming a hot topic with brands and fans paying increasing attention. There's been big coverage for the Women's Euros that took place in the summer and the current Women's Rugby World Cup. And it seems that the mainstream media are starting to showcase women's sports more and more. You have a great article on your website about this topic. How is the world of sponsorship looking to take advantage of the increase in attention to women's sports?
While still lagging significantly behind that of men's sports, women's sports is experiencing a significant uptick on several parameters, from viewerships, sponsorships and broadcast deals. In October this year, FIFA's Chief Business Officer, Romy Gay, publicly called on broadcasters to put forward rights offers reflective of the growing value of the women's game. He was criticising broadcasters' attitudes towards the tenders for the Women's World Cup, which takes place in Australia and New Zealand in July and August 2023. His remarks come at a time when interest in women's sports seems to be growing. Around the same time, EA Sports, publisher of the popular FIFA video game, announced it would invest $11 million in women's football and unveiled a multi-year partnership with UEFA Women's Champions League, UWCL, which would see the UWCL included into FIFA 2023. The title would include clubs such as Juventus Women, Real Madrid Femenino, and Chelsea Women. UEFA recently announced the launch of the UEFA Women's Nations League in 2023, which will link into the qualification to Women's Euro and World Cup. Viewership is increasing. The National Women's Soccer League NWSL final on the 29th of October was the first such game to be aired on CBS's primetime slot, drawing a record 915,000 viewers. The number marks a year-on-year increase of 71%, a record as well. In addition, it was the most streamed NWSL game with double-digit growth compared to last year's final. In England, a new deal between Sky and Snapchat will see the Women's Soccer League WSL highlights included into the highlight reel shared on the social media platform. It's not only women's football that is gaining ground. The International Cricket Council recently published a schedule for international women's cricket over the next 3 years, making it the first future tours programme ever created for the women's game. Traditionally only published for men's cricket, the women's programme sets out bilateral tours between 10 teams amounting to 300 matches in the period covering May this year to April 2025 period, an increase on the previous 3 years. The recent increase in interest for women's sports has also caught the attention of brands. Women's sports sponsorships increased 20% in 2022, according to a new report by Sponsor United. The report analysed partnerships for collegiate and professional sports across teams and individual athletes, and found that finance brands, already the most active sponsorship category for women's sports, increased their sponsorship activity by 30% year on year in 2022. The other categories in the top 3 biggest spenders were apparel and accessories, followed by media. Closer to home, in June 2023, Bangkok will be host for a leg of the Women's Volleyball Nations League. It is great to finally see more activity in women's sports categories. I'm expecting this positive development to continue in the coming years.
The Trifactor 2023 is more than just swimming, cycling and running races. What can you tell us about the Trifactor 2023?
More than just swimming, cycling and running races, Trifactor is a triathlon community with an aim to bring together people who share a love and passion for triathlon, fostering an inclusive atmosphere for people of all levels. Organised by Orange Room, a professional mass participation sports event organiser, the Trifactor Asian Championship Series started in 2009 in Singapore. Today, the community spans Asia Pacific in countries such as China, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand and Vietnam. With events throughout the year, the series gives both local and international participants an opportunity to connect and compete with like-minded individuals across the region. Trifactor organises a number of events under various umbrellas. Trifactor Engage focuses on holistic wellness, offering education and inspiration for promoting physical, mental and emotional well-being among members. Trifactor Engage offers smart on-demand information, interactive workshops, webinars, podcasts and a variety of educational content. In addition, Trifactor also runs the Level Up app, a platform that provides and tracks activities to help members progress with their training and recovery, drawing on support from professionals and the community. Triathlon is one of the fastest growing sports in the world, with more and more events being organised around the globe. Gone are the days when triathlons were only for the Ironman type of athletes. Today, events cater to all ages and abilities, with distances varying significantly.
And what commercial sponsorship and partnership opportunities are available for those interested in the Trifactor 2023?
We have created a package of comprehensive commercial sponsorship and partnership programs, especially for Trifactor 2023, including title and presenting sponsors, co-sponsors, official suppliers, and official media partners.
And finally, super early bird tickets are now available for your popular training workshops, Sponsorship Part 1 and Part 2, taking place in Bangkok on the 12th to the 15th of September 2023. What can you tell us about these workshops, Paul?
The Sponsorship Experts Popular Training Workshops, Sponsorship Part 1 and Part 2 are now available at a super early bird rate. Grab your tickets before it's too late. Running for more than a decade, the highly popular workshops always sell out. Until 30th of December 2022, delegates can grab their tickets at a 30% discount using the code PPSCACL30 upon checkout. The workshops are advanced one-day intensive training on how to maximize sponsorship and integrate them into tangible marketing goals. Sponsorship Part 1 is for rights holders who want to unleash the power of sponsorship. During the workshop, delegates will learn to understand why brands sponsor and how best to present rights as a central part of any marketing strategy. Sponsorship Part 2 is for brands who want to learn how to find the best sponsorship to match their marketing needs and how to maximize such sponsorships. Both workshops are highly interactive with specific case studies and individual guidance. A number of keynote speakers and professionals in the field of sponsorships will come and share their experience from decades in the industry. Each delegate will come away with a sponsorship pack that they can revisit at any time, as well as the opportunity to call the Sponsorship Experts Advice Line, which provides professional and qualified answers to areas that need clarifying post-calls. Sponsorship Part 1 and Part 2 are held at Como Metropolitan Bangkok on 12th to the 13th of September 2023 and 14th to the 15th of September 2023, respectively. Delegates can book directly on our website, paulpool.co.th.
Excellent. So if anyone is interested for any commercial sponsorship and partnership opportunities for the Volleyball Nations League or the Trifactor 2023, or learning more about the training workshops, what should they do?
As usual, Jay, we can be contacted through our website, paulpool.co.th, by email, info@paulpool.co.th, or pick up the telephone and dial +66 2622 0605 or 0606 or 0607.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Jay. I look forward to speaking with you again next month.